Hey guys, Alex Kahn here, and guess what, guys? It's that time of the year where Germany sends the Mannschaft out to the Euros. Last time I did a vlog for this, it was for the World Cup 2018. That was very disappointing for me as a huge Germany fan. 2016 was a little bit better, but that was the year that Portugal won the Euro, and that made Portugal, the reigning Euro champs, coming into the Group F, which they share with Germany. And Germany is in this really tough group. It's not just Portugal. They're also sharing the group with France. France won the 2018 World Cup. So you got France, Germany, Portugal, and then you also have Hungary in that group too. And for me, that's the biggest group of death in this tourney. So I want to say this first off. I do apologize to my fellow fans of Deutschland. I missed vlogging the first two matches. I even missed the first match completely. I didn't watch these matches until last night because I don't have access to ESPN anymore. So last night I purchased ESPN Plus on streaming. So I watched Germany, France, and then right after that I watched Germany, Portugal. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to vlog my thoughts on Germany's two matches that they already played. And then on Wednesday, I am taking the day off so I can watch Germany live when they play against Hungary. So before I start, I do want to say this about ESPN Plus streaming for the Euros. It is terrible. This is the worst service I've ever seen in my life. So unless you have ESPN, you're going to be stuck with ESPN Plus's alternate view. Their alternate view consists of 4 screens. The bottom 2 screens, they just focus on one player from one team and then another player on the other team. It does not matter who they are. It just focuses on them for like 15 minutes and it switches focuses on another person. It is so pointless. Even when that person has a ball, you can't see what they're doing because the camera is so close to them. The top 2 screens are a bit more reliable, except the one on the right, it's just so fuzzy and small that I can't even see what's happening. The only screen I watch on this 4-screen is the top left screen because I can kind of see what's happening there. So it's horrible because I was watching the Germany-France match. For the first 15 minutes, for first 20 minutes of that match, let's see, I wrote notes on here by the way so I don't forget. So for that match, the camera focused on Conte of France. This is during the national anthems. It focused on him on one camera, and then the other camera was focused on Gundogan, and it just stayed focused on them for 15 minutes into the match. It just made no sense. Like, they didn't even have the ball. The camera was still focused on them. I did not like that. Another problem with this 4-screen thing, aside from what I just mentioned, is there are no replays. There's barely any information written on the screen. I think when I watched a France match, there were only 2 or 3 times where they mentioned any statistics from the game, and that was for the possession. And they didn't mention any like World Cup facts, Euro facts. It was just so pointless. Even with the Portugal match, it didn't really. Again, no replays. They didn't really have information on the screen either. So, really quick, I want to recap. France versus Germany. I'm kind of glad I didn't watch this match live because I would have been so frustrated with this match. So, that game ended 1-0 for France. Basically, Germany scored an own goal, and I think this goal could have been avoided. It was Hummels, who I think is a great player, but he made a mistake. It's like the ball went to him from the French player, and then he was trying to clear it, but he cleared it right into his own net, and I think that could have been avoided. That wasn't like something that was forced on him. I just think it was a bad kick. It was a bad clearance, basically. So for that match, Germany, they were doing terrible for the first half. Like, they would possess the ball as they normally do at the World Cup and Euro. They possess the ball. Yeah, at one point, see, Germany had 62% possession. This is during the 29th minute, and France only had 38% possession, but Germany never really felt threatening when they had the ball because they would get the ball all the way to the French box, and then they would get dispossessed like almost immediately. Their passes went nowhere. They just went to a French player. That was the first half. In the second half, Germany actually had some pretty good chances. Unfortunately, France had a lot more chances than Germany. So I think Germany played better than what they played in the first half, but I think France definitely outplayed Germany in that game. But that's not really a bad thing because I think Germany was still finding their feet. They were still trying to get, they were trying to gel with their team on this Euro platform, which is pretty intimidating. Even though it's Germany, Germany has a lot of experience at this level. But I think they were still trying to gel at that point. And not to mention the fact that, France are the defending World Cup champions. And everyone thinks France has, the best players right now. And France does look pretty good. But I think after Germany's performance against Portugal, I think Germany can definitely take on France if they meet again in this Euro. So, in the 19th minute, that's when Hummels scored an own goal. And I don't want to brag about that because, again, I think Hummels is a great player. Like, he did really well against Portugal. So I think he just had an off game. That said, it was very comforting to see some familiar German names on this roster. You had Hummels, you had Kimmich, you had Neuer, the goalkeeper, of course, great, world class, top notch goalkeeper, and then you had oh my gosh, what are the names? Mueller. And it was so cool seeing these familiar names. They added some comfort to me because a lot of these other names that I'm seeing were relatively not new to me. Because here's the thing, I don't really watch club football or club soccer. So when I see these other names, it's like I'm not familiar with them, but I have heard of them, but I'm not familiar with them. Like Gozens, he's a great player. Havertz, a great player, but they're not the kind of because I don't watch club football. I don't, I'm just now seeing them. So, So Germany, like throughout the entire game, Germany they dominated possession. Around the 70th minute, Germany had 57% possession over France, who only had 43% possession. But the possession meant nothing because Germany wasn't really threatening. Even in the second half, when they did a lot better, I still felt like France was a much better team, especially when they were counterattacking and attacking. And I got to say, in France and Portugal, for Germany's sake, man, their defense looked so shaky whenever there was a counterattack. Like, any hint of a counterattack, Germany's defense was always caught flat-footed, and that was really scary. But again, that was against Portugal and France, top-notch teams. So something else I want to comment about on the France match is Germany was wearing all white in that match. This is kind of a non-factor, but I hate seeing Germany wearing white shorts with their white shirts. Like, for me, I like Germany's classic look. I like the white top, black shorts, and then white socks. The all-white look, it just looks wrong. I'm just not... I'm not digging it. So my video is already too long. So let's dive into the Portugal match. And again, I wrote notes here so I don't really forget. Again, I hate ESPN Plus streaming. It is terrible. After watching 2 back-to-back Germany matches, my eyes were hurting because the screen was fuzzy. There was like no way to tweak the settings for it to be HD. It was kind of fuzzy. You had these 4 screens going on. Only one of those screens was worth watching. And so imagine having a fuzzy screen and then only a quarter of that screen is actually watchable. That was terrible. But this game was excellent. I loved watching this game. And so Ronaldo scored in the 14th minute. Ronaldo is a great player. So I don't think he ever scored against Germany before. I forgot. But in this match he scored, and good for him. But after that, Germany, they got their act together. Like, actually, even before Ronaldo scored, Germany they created so many chances. against Portugal, and you kind of felt that if that Ronaldo goal didn't get to them, Germany was eventually going to score anyways because of all the relentless buildup and great chances they had against Portugal. This is so different than when they fought against France. Against France, they had the buildup, but there was no finishing. Like they never really looked threatening against France. But against Portugal, whatever they did between the first match and the second match, it worked because Germany was playing some really beautiful attacking soccer or football. So Ronaldo scored in the 14th minute, but in the 34th minute, Havertz scored. That was from, let's see, it says, I wrote here, Gosens strikes from the corner from Kimmich. Oh, wait, it wasn't Havertz because it was considered an own goal. But so that own goal by Portugal, in that case, that seemed like a forced error. But Hummels against France, that didn't really seem forced to me. But so, tie game in the 34th minute. In the 38th minute, another own goal by Portugal. And this one came off of Guerrero. So that was 2-1 for Germany. Second half, Havertz finally scores. I'm very happy because I feel like Havertz should have taken that goal in the first half, but it was counted as a Portuguese own goal. So 5 minutes into the second half, Havertz scores 3-1. Well, I mean, that's a score 3-1. And then in the 59th minute, Kimmich crosses to Gosens, who Gosens puts a nice header into the Portuguese goal. And that kind of reminded me of when Bierhoff used to play for Germany. He would always hit the ball in with his head, and I like seeing that Bierhoff style for Gosens' header there. That made the game 4-1. And then almost immediately after that, Germany they take off Gosens. And wait, did they take off? Yeah, I think they took off Gosens, and they took off somebody else. And then in the 66th minute, Diego J scores for Portugal, making it 4-2. And then that was the final score. Portugal had some chances after that. Germany had some chances after that. But the score held at 4-2. And that was such a great game. Germany played so much better in that match. I wish they played like that against France. Which, you kind of saw hints of that in the second half when Germany played against France. But Germany still wasn't really... They weren't really together yet because France was still so much better than Germany. So here's the situation. Germany lost to France 1-0. And then Germany beats Portugal with 4-2. So right now Group F is kind of a mess because you have all these situations where pretty much anybody can get through this round. So thank goodness that Hungary held France to a draw in their first match. Thank goodness for that. So I think Germany just needs to destroy Hungary. They just need to beat Hungary, and then I didn't actually quite look at the stats, but that would give Germany 2 wins, 1 draw, and 2 wins, 1 loss. And then France hasn't lost yet. I don't think they're going to lose against Portugal, but we'll see. I'm going to cheer for... Wait, am I cheering for Portugal? Yeah, I actually didn't think about this one. But yeah, Germany basically has to win against Hungary. And then hopefully whoever needs to win for France-Hungary, or France-Portugal, to make Germany pass, I'm going to cheer for that team. But yeah, I actually took Wednesday off so I can finally watch Germany live and not on a replay. But I'm going to watch Germany on Wednesday against Hungary. And that's going to be a very important match. Germany has to win that. I do not want to see Germany go out in the first round again. This would be World Cup 2018 all over again. I was so sad by that. I still enjoyed the World Cup, but when your favorite team goes out, it's hard to enjoy it. And this is the part of the video where I'm going to give my disclaimer. Why am I such a huge Germany fan? Well, back in 94, that's when I started watching soccer on TV. And I played soccer as a kid for the next, 10 years of my life. And there wasn't really a USA team. I mean, there was, but they weren't really worth watching, to be honest. I was watching Germany. A lot of people will watch, Brazil back in the day. I watched Germany because I was a huge fan of Klinsmann, Jurgen Klinsmann. he was like my soccer idol. And as I got into him, I got into the rest of the German style of football, and I just fell in love with it, and I've become a diehard Germany fan ever since '94. So that's why I'm such a huge Germany fan. So, what are your thoughts on these matches? Do you think Germany has a good chance of getting to the next round? I hope so, because I think they know what they have to do now, and they can do what they have to do now. I just think that first match against France definitely hurt their chances. But that win against Portugal, great, especially with 4 goals. That can go a long way in the event of a two-way tie in the group, because 4 goals, that's hard to achieve, especially against Portugal. Yeah, that's all I want to say. I really think Germany has a good shot of winning this Euro, as long as they get out of the first round. Once they get out of there, I think it's going to be a pretty good for them.